The next thing I want to talk about is characters that we're playing, and I'm glad that I get a chance to share this nugget with you, young men, because this was a lesson that was powerful for me. I am either an all-in or an all-out kind of a character. There's no lukewarm Rob. You either get hot or you get cold. Yeah. Right?
100%.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, it's annoying. But here's what I learned is that I can't always be on. And I can't always be in character. So, for example, this comes back to intentionality. When I decided that I was going to be successful in real estate, I defined what success looked like. And I defined what that character looks like. I defined what that successful real estate agent dresses like, and how he speaks, and what he's reading, and how he behaves, and what his disciplines are. I got very clear on what success, I'm going to put that in brackets, what success looks like at that. And then also there's another character, so let's call that Realtor Rob. Mm-hmm. That's a character that I play, and I'm not always Realtor Rob. In fact, I'm only Realtor Rob when I'm doing my job to make money. But there's also a Turkey Rob. And that's a character that I play that is a philanthropist that's building a nationwide charity. And what does he have to do? How does he have to act? What kind of a leader does he need to be? I can't always be that guy. And because I'm so on or off, I could be it or I couldn't be it. And what I realize is that I just need to play these parts while I'm playing the parts. I don't always have to be Turkey Rob. I don't always have to be real estate Rob. There's a Rob that you guys have met in my backyard that hangs around his pool, and he's a dad. He's family Rob. You've met him, and if you're one of my close personal friends, you get to meet this guy, and he's a completely different character. He talks about different things. Different things are important to him. And when I first started considering this duality of characters, it kind of bothered me. But what I've realized is that I need to play full on. If I'm playing baseball, I need to be a full on. When I'm playing baseball, that's what I'm doing. I'm full on. I'm on the field. There's nothing else matters. Nothing at home. Nothing. This is it. When I'm on my motorcycle, there's nothing else that matters. I'm on my bike. I'm fully focused on my bike. And so why can't I take this and apply it to my job? Why can't I apply it to my family or to my relationships? I'm going to always be genuine within my bounds of these are the rules. I don't lie. I always do my best. The pillars of who I am. I can have those pillars in every one of these personalities, but I can't always play that part. Yeah. If you come on the big day, you're going to meet Turkey Rob. He's a character. This guy, he's having a great time. He's hugging everybody. He wants to get pictures and he wants to promote it and talk about it. And you've all met Turkey Rob if you've been around me for more than a minute. Not the same guy. Right?
Right.
And I have my friends that are close friends to me, and it's almost like disorienting to them because they'll see this character show up and they're like,
who the hell is this guy?
Who's this guy? Like, I don't know this guy. But it's a character that I want to play. And the reason that I share that with you is because I'm genuinely that character. That person's important to me to move the needle in the area that's important. But I can't always be that person because it's impossible. And so what do you guys think about that, about playing a part?
I'm all for it. We just, before we got on here, same thing, again, different verbiage, putting a hat on.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I've got a whole plethora of hats.
Yeah.
And then I would throw one layer in front of that. For my mentals, I'm going to be the best at whatever I'm going to do.
The very best.
The very best.
Yeah.
So if I've got my baseball hat on, I'm going to be the very best that I possibly can be at that. If we're doing a podcast on that, like right now, I'm going to be the very best that I can possibly be at that. So be the best, but you have to have different hats. Because if you're going to be a multi-dimensional player in this game of life, right, you have to. I don't know of anybody that has the luxury of wearing one hat.
Those people end up being divorced.
Yes.
They don't have balance. When I was in law enforcement, if I would have brought Cop Rob home and I would have been Cop Rob at home, do you think that would have gone over at home?
No.
Nope. Not at all. And that's the same way with Realtor Rob. I can't bring him home. And that guy is getting stuff done. Yes. Next. Get to the point. Let's do this.
When you do bring that home too, it's a real problem. That I've been told many times. I'm not one of your employees.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me that way. I need to
shift gears.
We'll take that hat off.
So Sorry. I love that. And so that's the next step is I need to be conscious of the hat that I'm wearing. I can't step into a room and not be conscious of the character that I'm about to play. When I get home from my listing appointment or prospecting or whatever the thing is I'm doing when I'm real estate Rob, I sit in the garage for a second. now it's time to be family time, Rob. And I
Yeah.
go in and it's time to connect with my wife. It's time to hold my little girl. It's time to be here and now in that and be the best that I can be, which might be shitty, might be terrible.
I think it's easier.
It doesn't
but it's my
necessarily
best.
mean.
Yeah.
For me, it's easier to take the family hat off and go to work and be
Boss.
the boss.
Yeah.
Then it's harder to take the work hat off when you get home. That's important to remember. When you get home, I don't want to treat my kids the way if I've had a bad day, I don't want that to reflect.
Look at this mess. What are you guys doing? The thing, yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It's
Right.
probably
Little kid.
because you wear certain hats a lot
A
more.
lot more.
Right? Theoretically, you're wearing the work hat way more than you're wearing the family hat.
Right.
And so a true art form of practicing this is how fast can you get the family hat on.
So
And
that's what brings me to my final point.
Oh, okay, go ahead. 'cause I got a
I
trick.
love this so
Let me hear
much.
your trick. I'm curious
Okay.
to know what it is. How do you intentionally shift gears? Because I have signs up. If you've been to my house, I've got little signs up to like help me be like, oh.
I noticed that. That was the
Those
first
are-
thing I noticed when I went
Those
to your house.
I've adopted that.
I started doing the same thing.
It's-
Yeah.
So when I was playing, in between each pitch, okay, I had a full routine, and you see baseball guys do this. For anybody that remember Nomar Garcia-Parra, where he would flip his batting gloves back and forth 9,000 times before he stepped in the box. So mine was I would look down at the right field foul pole, and I called it my reset button. Okay, and I do the same thing today. When I walk in, there's a certain spot that I look at on the building I'm walking into. That's my cue of what hat I'm putting on. When I go home, it's that deep breath right at the bottom of the stairs before I walk upstairs.
So yours is a spatial
Mine
cue.
is an actual spatial cue that I have identified that spot, that's my reset button, or you could just say like, that's my hat. Okay, that's my family hat. I have to put that hat on. And then I look at that spot, grab it, put it on, and off we go.
Just have hat racks laying around.
All the time. Mine are the signs. I have a sign at my desk. I have a sign when I walk in the door of my home. I've got signs all over the place, and I have to get into character to become real estate Rob, for example, if I'm going on a listing appointment. I don't do my gloves, but I listen to the same thing every time. I listen to the same songs. I listen, I get into the space because it's about rituals. We men are
rituals.
We are about the rituals, and if we can be conscious of the rituals, when I'm stepping into that workspace, I'm stepping in there, and there's no one better than me. There's no one better than Real Estate Rob when it comes time to be the realtor. And then I step into that charitable space, and you guys have all met that guy. You saw him on Saturday. There's nobody better. There's nobody better because I'm just doing it. I'm fully ritualed into the space of being the best I can be.
And being genuine while doing it.
Right. And I guess that's what I want to keep coming back to. There's no disingenuous behavior in there. I'm not stepping over any principles or pillars of never lying, of always doing my best. These basic pillars that are who I am, who I've decided that's what makes me up, and doing that. And so what I'm saying is there's two parts. Actually, there's many parts to this, but there's two big parts of it. Number one, what are your pillars that are non-negotiable pillars?
Central part of your
I will never lie to you. I'm too old to lie to you. I can't remember the lies. I don't want to remember the lies.
It's
It's exhausting. So I don't lie, and I will always do my best, even if it's shit. It's my very best. I'm always going to give you my very best. And there's a couple of others like that. They're non-negotiables. You need to decide what those are. And then when you have your non-negotiables and you decide the character, let's say Real Estate Rob, know what he wears, know what he says, know what he reads, know what his disciplines are. Be very clear about what that definition of success looks like. When I'm husband Rob, I'm very clear about what principle it's going to take in order for me to have success in that area. There's no, I'm being intentional in every space of my life, and that way I have what I want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm a ship without a rudder, and I'm being blown about the ocean in some regard of my life every day. And that you never get to your destination. And that destination is I want a meaningful, loving relationship with my wife. I want to make a certain amount of money every year in real estate. I want to feed a certain number of families. And that definition is so very important. I want to challenge you, men, and anyone watching this, to get clear about what it is that defines your success in all of these areas. Otherwise, you don't know, and you're going to get what you get, and it can be shitty. It could be shitty.
Yeah, I like that. I like defining those lines.
and then playing all out in that space.
And then also I have appreciated the notes.
It's all over my
So
house.
that's something that hits home for me. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and if you can do it spatially, then do it. Whatever your trick is, you got to have it and just be conscious of that trick. And my notes, they don't mean anything to anybody except for me. One of the notes is like, take a breath because this matters right now. That's my reminder that stepping into the house with my wife and kids, if they're there, is the very most important thing that I can be doing right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's my trigger. That's what I do. Going on that listing appointment, I've got my routine that makes me just like, I'm here. I've decided. This is happening. You know what I mean?
You just defined. I feel like there was like this thing happening in my life that I didn't quite understand what it was, and you just put a definition around it. That was spectacular. I knew I was going to like that golden nugget specifically. Just the way that we led into it made a lot of sense. But the first thing that I immediately thought about is before you had finished your thought, which now makes perfect sense. But at the beginning, when you were just describing that there's this core, value system that is central to all of the play or all of the characters you play, and then there's these characters, I started thinking about that in my own life and the way that I've observed other people, and it's almost a litmus test, like a perfectly accurate litmus test for successful people. If I look at someone in my workplace and I say, you, and it's kind of, you have to get to know people almost to understand this, so it doesn't necessarily work as a litmus test immediately, but if I know that person is the same person that they are at home, that they are at work, I can almost always be someone who doesn't find success at work because like the people that I'm talking to are like, yeah, I'm so excited to go back to the couch and watch my TV show.
There's no rudder.
Yeah, you're just being why are you even here?
Yeah.
Whereas the people who are accomplishing, the people who are at the top level, they are playing that role out to 110%.
I would even take it one step further. The high level guys, the guys that you want to look up to, have multiple hats, have multiple characters that they play. It's almost like a badge of honor for high level individuals. Yeah. How many different hats and characters, and it's not like they're hodgepodging them together, right?
Right.
They're high level characters that they have to play this game.
Yeah.
Because all right, let's take a video game reference, right? If you're in a whatever role playing game, okay, the same character isn't going to be the best character you can have for every level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
If you could
How
magically
nerdy you want to get, you can't be a paladin and a rogue at the same time.
Whatever that means, yes.
Exactly. You're welcome.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. If you could go through that game and remember Pokemon?
Yeah.
Right? To get through the first whatever Brock it was, that was right. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
For the whole game, Charizard would have been the best choice. But for that particular fight, Squirtle would have been the best choice. Sorry, Rob, stay with me, buddy.
I was better with the paladin reference.
Here, wait, one for you, Scott. There's top laners and there's bottom laners, okay? And then there's the center. They're all separate roles.
Oh, man.
Nothing. But that's my point. Is like if you could bring the different character, right, and then you can fill your ticket no matter what situation that you're brought up against. I'll give you a really rudimentary example. As a man, especially one with a family, you should have a hat in your back pocket. Fight monster mode, right? Somebody attacks your family or whatever, somebody attacks your family. You pull that hat out, and that is an immediate switch.
Yes. I call him Tier 1 operator.
Tier 1 operator, there you go.
You're welcome.
Okay, but being able to switch between all of those different hats, okay, that is a true definition of a high-level player.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a fantastic golden nugget. I think that's a great insight. Because that truly is something that I have been trying to figure out. Like, it feels almost to your point when you were describing it at the very beginning, when you had first started to notice this pattern, it brought you discomfort. And this is the same effect it's been impacting me, where I feel you almost feel two-faced. You feel like, am I being my genuine self?
Mm-hmm. But that's the big one, because be your authentic self wherever you are.
Right. But you are still being your authentic self.
100%.
You're bringing
Absolutely.
your best version of you in that role. But you're tailoring, you're not tailoring yourself in the sense that you're putting on some sort of mask, but you're tailoring yourself in terms of, I have these skill sets that will apply in this circumstance. And so I'm going to utilize those at 100%.
I'm going to define that behavior
Right.
clearly so that I have a direction. I'm not thinking, I can't wait to get back on my couch. I'm thinking right now, right here,
Yeah.
who's the best Rob I need to be?
Yeah. And I love how seriously you're taking it to the point of like, what types of habits does this person have?
Yeah.
How do they dress? Like that does
What words
impact.
does he say?
It totally impacts it. If I dress a certain way one day and a different way another day, I will get comments on it. It'll change the way that people perceive the way you're doing your work.
That's exactly right.
And the way you take your lunch, where you go, what you eat, all of it. It all matters. Mm-hmm. I like it. I like that a lot.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.